What does it mean to let go? To cease holding on, to cease grasping onto the way that things should be, or ideas and thoughts of what you are, or even the illusion of self. You see, I believe that much of what this life is and appears to be, and the personal experience, is solely made up of an attachment, a grasping, as if something sees itself as separate and is grasping onto things in this physical world. And it's quite strange when you see the ultimate truth, when you see beyond the illusion, and you realize that there was nothing to grasp on except for yourself. And that which you are is not something inherently personal. It's something much, much beyond that. Something that is all encompassing. But when someone says, let go, how simple and easy is it really to let go? Because what does it mean to let go? Is it an action? Do you simply just say, I'm going to let go? Think, not with your brain, but thinking in the sense of feeling. What does letting go feel like? Is it something that you can decide to do? It is something, no, it is something that merely just happens. Because to let go is the release, it is the opposite of action. You cannot tell yourself, I am going to let go. Because in itself, the intention to let go is an action. It is a grasping onto an idea of letting go. Simply put, to let go is to let go. To plan to let go is not to let go. To say you are to do this, to say you do that, is not letting go. Letting go is simply being. No ideas of needing to be this or that. No want or desire to be this or that. Almost like an observing. But it's not an observing because there is no separation. It is being. And it's quite interesting that when we let go, we think that we are to attain something. You know, to grasp onto something is not to actually have anything. But to let go and open your palm allows you to receive, allows things to fall in your hand. In this life, I like to think it's not so much of air and not so much of earth, physical, something very dense, but something more like water. I mean, I suppose reality is more vibration and energy, but we'll use water as I think it is the most synonymous in metaphorical terms. If you are to think of life as water, and you are to grasp it with your hand, you are not to hold it. It is simply something that is going to fall out of your hand. But if you have an open palm, calm, resting, that water will pull up in your hand, in your palm, and you will hold it without grasping onto it. Is it not? Because the water is held without any effort. As such, Life happens without any effort. And any effort that is put into living life, that itself is inherently already a happening, inherently a part of this great happening that we call life. Because how can you say that an individual self has any control over anything in life? And you might say, oh, of course I have this, I have control, I can do this, I can do that, I've done this. But who is it that is doing? Who is it that you are? Who is it to receive? Who is it to do? You see, I believe that when you look at life, there is not really anywhere for us to go, anything for us to grasp onto. If you look at the life of anything, really, it is a cycle, it is a process of birth and death and rebirth. As such, are our lives any different? Not just our lives of flesh, but the life of the eternal, the life of this universe, so to speak, of life itself. What is the life of life? The eternal essence. Is it merely not itself just a process, just a great happening? A process that is not to go anywhere, not looking towards going anywhere, but something that is simply occurring. You see, if you look at the life of any animal, any plant, let's take a plant for example. Let's say you have an apple tree. Where is that apple tree to go? Does it have a destination in life? Does it have a purpose other than merely existing and continuing the process and being the process? A tree has no goals, it simply exists. And even if it were to have any goals, that would be illusory, no? It would be inherently pointless, I suppose, because the tree acts as it is, naturally. It gets sun, it gets water, without effort. It grows fruit. The fruit falls, an animal eats it, and the seed comes out the other end, only to be grown into a new tree. That is to repeat the process, repeat the cycle. As such, it is not going anywhere. The tree is not going anywhere other than recreate itself. Essentially, if it is to go anywhere, it is back into itself. It never becomes anything different. It never becomes anything other than that which it already was. And so in this life, in our true selves, hell, even in the personal self, where are you to go? Except for back into yourself, into your greater self, into the universal self, that which is all, that which is the great and eternal process. You see, simply, we are nothing more than this. And you can think of yourself as a separate self. But if you're watching this, eventually, maybe, you will realize that there was no one to realize anything at all. And everything that was happening was just you, but not in the greater sense that we have that I am this person. But rather, for example, the thoughts that you have, where do they come from? Are they you? Are they yours? Do you own them? Are they simply things that just merely arise? Simply things that just happen in the great process. So I want to remind you that in this life, there is not inherently anywhere to go. And for some of you, you'll find great peace in that. And some of you will find great distraught in that. And the conclusion you come to is merely the level of attachment you have, how much you are grasping to yourself, to your identity. Because for anyone who has an open palm, metaphorically, will realize that in this truth, there is a liberation. Because the self that was struggling, the self that was trying to grasp onto something, was an illusion. It was something that never exists, but rather just an energy within the process. And as such, those with the closed palm will not be able to receive that knowledge because their energy is closed, and they will continue to grasp on to that which they think they are. So, my friends, what will you be? Open or closed? Because really, this life you have is simply in the palm of your hands. You just have no idea how big your palms really are.